Hitchcock was fun. He played gags all the time and played jokes like nailing the door closed. So when you go to make an exit, it's nailed shut.
This man could have been a real good director. His early films are full of talent. He became lazy, mentally and physically fat.
You know, Hitch, when he tells a story, he pours a martini, and however long the story is, how much gin is in the bucket, you know, one of those kinds.
I used to encounter him at parties, and he had the charisma of a bump on a log.
He was terribly funny. I mean, he was, contrary to some of the things that have been published by Hitchcock, I found him a very sweet man, a very nice one.
I mean, really cruel and vicious.
Oh, Hitch is a pussycat. He is so cuddly. He's really something else.
That Sanovich had no right to call actors cows.
Half the things he ever said were just to get people a little cuckoo. And I loved him. I really got along with him.
That's what I think of Hitchcock. Anything new?
Get a dose of mystery and suspense from the master of the thriller, Alfred Hitchcock, with Notorious. Tuesday at 1:30 a.m. Eastern here on Turner Classic Movies.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. The same year our last film, The Apartment, was making movie fans laugh, the next film we have for you was making them really squirm in their theater seats. And like The Apartment, which was produced and directed by Billy Wilder, this next film was also produced and directed by an expert. Our movie is Psycho, and the creative force behind it was the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. Psycho was actually Hitchcock's first foray into the horror film genre. Something new and surprising for him. All his earlier films were more in the vein of suspenseful mysteries and mood pieces. When he approached the Paramount studio bosses with the idea of turning a novel about a serial murderer into a horror film, they were quite cool to the idea, certain the film would be a disaster. They were so convinced this film would flop that they jumped when Hitchcock offered to personally finance this film, allowing Paramount to only distribute it. In exchange, Hitchcock would receive 60% of the profits and eventual ownership of the film. Now, if ever a filmmaker thrived as both a producer and director, it was Hitchcock. As good as his earlier films were, such as Rebecca and Spellbound, both of which were produced by David O. Selznick, Hitchcock never liked answering to anyone else. One reason he started also producing his own films. That began with Notorious in 1946. And soon after, he had total creative control over all his projects. And Psycho is a prime example of pure Hitchcock. Here's starring Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh, Vera Miles, and John Gavin, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.